It's Britney Spears and Me Against the Music. My guests of the day are ready to climb onto the show. It's the actors Parambrata Chattopadhyay, Paoli Dam and Rahul Bose.
94.3.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Rahul Bose, Param and Paoli, what a fantastic set of talent in front of me. Rahul Bose, though, is lacking in the talent of ordering groceries and domestic supplies in the lockdown. I hope that has improved, Rahul. That has improved?
Oh, I have another horror story for later. We'll talk offline.
Yeah. Let me start by asking you, Rahul, for a film directed by a writer, which is Anvita, this one has very few lines in it, which actually for me is a good thing. I like the silences, but I'd like you to comment on that, please.
I've always loved films where I can explore what is not written. So for me, this was great. It was a win-win because apart from, I should say, Hrishi, although you haven't asked me, is that, you know what happens when you work with a first-time director is all you can hope for is vision and passion. I've worked with 10, 12 first-time directors, starting with Dave Benegal. I think you saw English August, all the way down to Anvita Dutt with Sujoy Ghosh and Saket Chaudhary and Aniruddha Roy Chaudhary and Barnali Ray Shukla tossed into the middle. But I know you've seen Bulbbul. I didn't think it looked like a first-time film director's work. It is such a assured, skillful debut. But more than that, she has such a distinctive voice. I mean, we have a new distinctive voice in the Indian film industry. I think in the future there will be no doubt when you see an Anvita Dutt film that it's an Anvita Dutt film. Many directors find their voices only mid-career, but she is. That's what really excites me about this. I know I digress from your question, but back to your question, I love the silences. I love playing there. I mean, if you watched from English August onwards, English August, I must have said a total of 100 words, apart from the voiceovers.
Now, Param, I want to come to you. Bengal of that era obviously fascinates me, even though I have a very Bengali first name, Hrishikesh. I was named after Hrishikesh Mukherjee, the great director, because my father was a great fan of his work, but I'm not Bengali. So, and nobody's interested in listening to me talk about Bengal history. The child marriage, the widows, the renaissance brought about by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Let's talk about Bengal in that era, and everybody, like I said, would like to hear that from Parambrata.
I think it's just a bundle of contradictions. That's how you can define it. That's how you can describe Bengal even today, or for that matter, many parts of India. But I think what really makes it even more significant is the fact that the era that we're talking about is the era of, as you mentioned, the Renaissance. Calcutta is being flooded with new ideas, the older order is being rejected, and the rights of women are being acknowledged, rights of widows are being acknowledged. Child marriage is, people are trying to prohibit child marriage. All of that is happening. This entire ferment is going on in the city of Calcutta. But only hours away in a village, same old practices are being practiced quite blatantly. And the latter is the world of this film. And that is where, into this world, the part that I play in the film, that this man, Dr. Sudeep, he comes into this world almost, in my eyes, in my perception, it comes in as almost a symbol or a representative of that world, of the Calcutta world of the new ferment and the new thinking. He's otherwise very plainly dressed. He's definitely not as fancily dressed as Paoli, Avinash and Tripti have dressed, or even Rahul have decked up in the film. Anvita has made me wear only the grey throughout the film and nothing else. But yeah, he I think represents that ferment, new ideas, the new approach to existence and humanity itself. So I think it's a mixture of ideas, and that's what makes for a great setting.
Parambrata Chattopadhyay talking about his Dr. Sudeep, one of the pivotal characters in the film Bulbbul. More to come with his talented trio of actors. I'm Hrishi K. And yes, the band Little Mix with Missy Elliott, a song called How You Doing? Only on 94.3 Radio 1 One World, your station. Haley Steinfeld and Blood Pop, lovely song there, capital letters. Rahul Bose returns and lyricist and screenplay writer turned filmmaker Anvita Dutt's Bulbbul. It starts streaming tomorrow on Netflix. Joining him this morning on an interview with me are the pride of the Tollygunj Bangla film industry who are also in the film, Parambrata Chattopadhyay and Paoli Dam.
94.3.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Paoli, at the face of it, the jealous older in age, because in stature she is still the younger Bahurani. The older in age Bahurani who's jealous of the younger in age Bahurani is a very cliched thing in Indian cinema. Not just in Indian cinema, we see it in Indian television also. But you've managed to keep it fresh. How did you manage to keep it fresh, your approach?
Thank you so much for that question. It's a very interesting one. So that was actually which intrigued me, in doing this film. Because there's no doubt that Vinodini is the victim of that misogynistic society. society of the late 19th century Bengal that we are showing in the film. And somehow I felt like, yes, this kind of victimization is still there. So I found it absolutely even like very much to be like in today's time. Maybe the story is of 19th century, but it also belongs to today's time, and people who would watch it will definitely be able to relate it. Now coming back to Vinodini, like when I read the script for the first time, I found her to be a little mean, weird, and this clip also came to my mind, like how I want to approach it. I was a little confused, of course, like because for the first time I was playing a victim. I've never played a character like this. Again, that was again an interesting point for me because I was about
to play something which I have not done before. So when I spoke to my director Anvita, very interesting point which she mentioned, like Vinodini is a child. She just told me this, and she kept money. She used to call me Little Pau on the sets of Bulbbul. Maybe that kind of like a tapping kind of like a pulse for every actor. It's a maybe a name for every actor that she had, so that she understood the pulse of the actor. So that was again a very beautiful director-actor relationship we had. So when she told me a child, my entire approach to the character changed. Like I found like, oh yes, she is the victim, and she was married at a very early age. Even when she understood what love was, even before she was completely like, before she became a woman. So during that period, while she was growing, these things which was told to her, though she clung to those beliefs, clung to those thoughts, she clung to those social norms, because probably she was like deep down in her head, she thought that she was not the badi bahu of the family. She is not the badi bahu of the Zamindar family, so she doesn't have the title. So that means she doesn't have the power to change everything around her. So she kept on living in that cocoon. She stuck to those beliefs and those superstitions, those, I would say, the petty things of life, all those soch, उस ज़माने की जो उसके अंदर उसको समझाया गया था, and she, like a child, she believed in it, and she, like, her entire life was like now around those jewels, those wealth, those saris, those riches, those jewelry, and maybe at times she dressed up. She loved looking pretty. She always wanted to dress up. Maybe that was kind of camouflage her inner self, her inner desires. She somewhere, I think she locked it up inside her. What she wanted, probably she seeked love, she seeked care, but she never found it. She never got it. So yeah, like, and she became like that. Somehow inside her, something. I was really sad, to read her. I felt so sad for her that she lived in a bubble with nothing. It was empty. She was like empty with nothing around. That was the saddest part. I think she is the most tragic character in the entire film. And since I was playing a victim first time, I thought I should tell her world, and that's how I just thought part of it. And I'm really honored to be a part of it.
And we're lucky to savor their work. Paoli Dam, Parambrata Chattopadhyay and Rahul Bose in a tete-a-tete with me on their latest film, Bulbbul. I'm Hrishi K, and time to listen to some killers. It's the band's brand new song. It's called Caution, and you're hearing it here on 94.3 Radio on One World, your station. The Chainsmokers with Paris, a supernatural thriller, is up for release on OTT. It's produced by actress Anushka Sharma and her brother Karnesh Sharma, and their Clean Slate Films. They recently gave us the stellar Patal look. It's directed by Anvita Dutt. This one's called Bulbbul, and I'm in conversation with the principal cast. It's Parambrata Chattopadhyay, Paoli Dam and Rahul Bose. More conversation.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Anvita and you, Rahul, this is the first time you're collaborating. A little bit about what you appreciated in her approach, given the fact that both you, Rahul, and Param also directed before. So, I'd like you to put on your director's hat in that aspect, even though you're an actor here. What is it that you appreciated about her as a filmmaker, Rahul?
Well, I can tell you what I didn't appreciate is her deceit, because I thought I was in Bulbbul. I mean, I'm young, I'm beautiful. It's just a matter of having faith in me as an actor. And she just, before I realized that I was on the set playing somebody completely different. So
yeah, and you can do flirtatious and sexy. You can do flirtatious and sexy too. So, it's cool.
Come on, Hrishi. We've known each other so many years. I'm a master of flirtation and sexiness. I mean, come on. Yes. So anyway, having established that, she's an aesthete. It doesn't require a rocket scientist to see Bulbbul to realize that this director is an aesthete. But that sense of aesthetics also translates into her being deeply sensitive, deeply compassionate, deeply empathetic, and also have an acute feel for the right note. What is the right note to strike strike in this scene? What is the right note for the actor to work with? We workshopped this film and then we were in sync. We hardly spoke during the shooting of the film. We had one disagreement, which was in one of the more grim scenes of the film, which I can't give it away for spoilers. And I disagreed, like I have disagreed with Aparna Sen in the past, like I was taken aback with Zoya directing me in one of the scenes in Dil Dhadakne Do. But let me say, in all three instances, I was wrong and the directors were right. Zoya was right, Aparna was right, and in this case, Anvita was right. What I did was, like I always do when I disagree, I give the director's vision a shot and to show that, look, it's not working. Now listen to the great person himself. And all three times I've had egg on my face. Because when I've given it a shot, it's worked so well that I've eaten humble pie for many. In fact, a bit of the pie is still left here after the interview I just finished.
The inevitable Rahul Bose wit. Param, to me, you're such a remarkable actor. You're really a national treasure, if there's any way I can describe you, having followed your work. But listen to me, I mean, but really, we don't see enough of you in Hindi cinema, and you've chosen to keep it that way, which we respect. But the fact that you've come back and worked again with clean slate means that, there is obviously something that appeals to Karnesh and Anushka and that team's vision for filmmaking. So talk about that.
Yeah, I will have to say a word or two about Karnesh. He's the one who never really comes to the fore. Right? He's never really comes to the foreground or to the forefront. He's the one who is kind of doing things from the back. It's always great to have Anushka on the set when she comes to the set, when she visits us on a film that she's on a part of, when she visits us. It's great encouragement for all of us. But I think Karnesh is the one who has got this brilliant mind, and a mind eccentric enough and a mind courageous enough to pick these really weird subjects which otherwise no one would kind of want to, their dreams, even if their dreams want to touch. Just a while ago, Rahul was saying, pointing out very aptly that Lisa has been working with genre, especially with the supernatural genre, which used to be derided before a little bit. They are not really genres to be touched by respectable people, respectable producers. But I think what Lisa has managed to do with Filori, with Pari, and now with Bulbbul, they've completely spun the narrative around the whole genre of supernatural thrillers. Now it is becoming a space which should be delved into, which should be explored. I think I would like to give Karnesh a lot of credit for that, for backing things which are only helping push the envelope as far as Indian content, as far as the barriers of Indian content is concerned, be it Pakal Lok, be it Pari, be it Filori, be it NH10, now be it Bulbbul. Yeah, and I really wish to congratulate them and him in particular. And so that has sort of this method of thinking, this way of thinking has obviously made sort of an impact on me. And since my days with Pari, we have developed sort of a friendship, a relationship, a comfort factor. We exchange ideas, we interact quite a lot. But at the same time, this is also quite tricky because this comfort factor might come into the way, might get into the way and stop you from delivering as a professional on the set. So, and that should not happen. So that bifurcation needs to be there somewhere at the back of your CNS, but which is there, hopefully, and thankfully it's there. But I do have great respect and admiration for Clean Slate and Karnesh, yes.
So much humility and objectivity. Parambrata Chattopadhyay there. The Bulbbul interview shall continue. You hang by as I play you this Kylie Minogue gem called In Your Eyes. It's 94.3 radio on One World, your station. And my name is Hrishi K. It's Kelly Clarkson with our heartbeat song Bulbbul the film. Shall stream on Netflix starting tomorrow, and it's a story set in Bengal. Ideal then that you'd have actors from the region cast in it to play some really interesting, meaty characters. I'm chatting this morning with Rahul Bose, Parambrata Chattopadhyay and Paoli Dam.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Now, Paoli, I look at your work in Bangla. You've worked with Gautam Ghosh, the late Basu Chatterjee, God bless his soul, all the greats. But in Hindi cinema, you were always known as the bold hate story girl. And you must be so happy to change that now, that perception. And, this I hope will cause people to look at your work in Bangla, which is actually very, very stellar.
I was literally bored. Like in every interview, we keep on hearing bold, shahoshi, that. It was so cliched actually. You need to be bold to do anything on earth actually. You don't really need to. So that's, so I wanted to actually explore and do films which interest me or intrigue me, especially the character and of course the director. So whatever I think I've speak so far, whatever calls I've got so far, I think I've chosen the best out of them. And at times, like me, I have some Hira inside me. Like I love my comfort zone. So Bangla is my mother tongue. So I'm comfortable in that zone because I grew up in that space. So, and the kind of films we make here, the kind of thought-provoking cinema, and of course, a different kind of content that we explore here. So I love that space. I don't know, after after a certain point, like I just feel like, breaking away that comfort zone and entering into a new uncharted territory, unknown territory, which was when I moved to Bombay to do my first film, though I haven't stayed there, like I kept shuttling between Calcutta and Bombay. But yeah, because I wanted to explore there. So again, I think I had made it a comfortable zone there. Then somehow again I needed that thing of breaking it again. And for me, I just believe in the journey, the journey through every film, which enriches me, which enlightens me. There's so much to learn from every person, the co-actors you have, the directors you have, the producers you have. So I like being in that space amidst my technicians, and I miss it. I miss it now so much. So I remember once I had opted to do a Konkani film over a Hindi film because I wanted to explore that language. I wanted to, it was 1.5 months of staying in Goa. So it was again, I wanted to stay in Goa and I wanted to also explore the indie making of film, the guerrilla style of making a film. Just go out, like two people just move out with a camera and just explore whatever is happening there around. So that's a different way of shooting. So maybe, it's not always like I plan things or it's calculated that way, but I want to explore in different kind of genre, in different kind of content, and I keep on doing same thing over and over again because I myself get bored. If I get bored to do something, how can I do something which people will show interest in watching? So yeah, that's the overall thing as far as comes to Hindi language film.
Well said. Inside the mind of the actor is how I described that bit with Paoli Dam, the actress. Back to the music. Here are Enrique Iglesias and Pitbull with Freak, only on 94.3 Radio 1 One World, your station. I'm Hrishi K. Cult band, cult song, the Red Hot Chili Peppers with Go Robot. Bulbbul stars the Laila Majnu duo. Remember that film produced by Imtiaz Ali, filmed entirely in Kashmir? Tripti Dimri and Avinash Tiwari, that lead pair. The film has music by Amit Trivedi and also sees Rahul Bose, Paoli Dam and Parambrata Chattopadhyay working together. I'm in a very interesting chat with Paoli, Rahul and Param.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Param, I wanted to ask you, I believe you had the script of Bulbbul much in advance. A little birdie tells me that, you're obviously a confidant to a lot of filmmakers and producers, and you were given the script just to give your opinion. Is that it? Or were you supposed to play some other part?
No, I was given the script to have my opinion on it. It was during Buddy, actually, right after we finished shooting for Buddy. Because Amrita and I, we had made friends by then, and we used to exchange a lot of ideas. And Amrita mentioned that, I have this story which is set in Bengal, your land, and this is... I said, I would have to read it if you don't mind. And she sent it to me, and I read it. And of course, it was an earlier draft, not the draft that we shot. But yeah, it was still essentially the same thing. It's the same idea. I have been fascinated with Bulbbul ever since. Also, I would just like to take a couple of minutes and mention here, I think in your question to Paoli, you mentioned that now that people are watching you, will be watching you on Bulbbul, they will be watching your stellar work in Bangla too. This is a very interesting phenomenon you just mentioned. This really happens because I have seen this happening with me. So people go onto a certain OTT platform, watch a Pari or a Kahani, and then if they end up liking that film, if they end up liking my work, they will just look up the actor if they don't happen to know me, and go and look up the Bengali catalog and then find out those Bengali films, watch them with subtitles, and then get back and then come back on social media saying, sir, I'm from this and this place, I don't understand Bengali, but I happen to Pari, I've gone and watched this and this Bengali film of yours, oh my god, how lovely films you make. And I've been surprised to see the kind of people who have got no connection with the Bengali language or Bengal, then coming up with the names of some of the most obscure Bengali films that I've done ever. It's really, I think this is something that the OTT zone has done to our favor, tremendously to our favor. I just wanted to mention this in context.
Yeah. Rahul, I want your opinion on Tripti and Avinash. Tripti yesterday, day before yesterday when I was talking to her, was lamenting the fact that, she's not getting enough roles. The phone didn't ring as much after Laila Majnu and she doesn't know what's going to happen after Bulbbul. Avinash, again, he's done a Karan Johar set of short stories. He did that Laila Majnu. He's done a fair amount of television. So what do you make of these young talents, Tripti and Avinash? Avinash in particular, because you have a lot of scenes with him too.
Both of them, actually. I think Tripti is a deeply authentic, apart from being a deeply authentic person, she's also a deeply authentic actor. For her, artifice doesn't really work. She really has to dive deep down to get there. But she's a noble and brave actor. She shares the space with a great deal of generosity and a genuine sense of nobility. You can sense the kind of human being you're working with in 2 minutes when you're working with an actor. Avinash has, I think, perhaps because he might have done more work, I don't know, but he appears to me to be a little more worldly wise in the way of acting and filmmaking and stuff like that, which can only stand him in good stead in the future. He comes to places with a greater sense of questioning, but he also applies his instinct. I think both of them are pitch perfect in this film. I haven't seen Laila Majnu. I don't know how versatile they are, and nobody knows as yet because it's the beginning of their careers. But if there was a role for Avinash or Trip in my film, the one I'm writing, would I cast them? In a heartbeat. I mean, I would also cast Param and Paoli and you, Hrishi, because I've always wanted to cast.
Surefire recipe for your film to fail, casting me.
Never a dull moment when my friend Rahul Bose is around. More to come on the show with the cast of the supernatural thriller Bulbbul. Don't go anywhere. I'm Hrishi K, and here's Demi Lovato with Give Your Heart a Break on 94.3 Radio 1 World, your station. Epic song, Michael Jackson, Black or White. It's a story of ghosts and chudels, love, romance and relationships. That's director Anvita Dutt's Bulbbul, which shall come to your OTT screens tomorrow. I'm having a super conversation with these really evolved actors who are part of the film. Parambrata Chattopadhyay, Rahul Bose and Paoli Dam.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Paoli, I should have actually asked Anvita this, but I couldn't squeeze in this question. Was it production design? Was it sets? But that Haveli, the body, it just looks so beautiful. Especially in the scenes where you're sitting out on the steps with Tripti. So was that an actual set that you guys, actual Haveli body, or did you have to recreate it?
No, that's an actual Haveli. It's called Bawali Rajwali. So it's a place, I think, 2 hours from Calcutta, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, maximum 2.5 hours from Kolkata, the main city. In fact, I myself shot there for the first time, while filming Bulbbul. I had heard of the Haveli, but I've never gone there, I've never visited there.
But Hrishi, sorry to interrupt. It would be remiss not to mention the production designer's work in that Haveli. Because she has converted some parts of that Haveli. And also we shot on the sets. And when I tell you the stuff that we shot on the set, you'll be staggered to believe it was a set. I mean, Meenal's work is just breathtakingly detailed and so authentic. Wonderful work. Sorry, please.
Yeah, continue.
It was like a painting, like the way she designed the set and everything. Of course, like the Haveli was there, and the entire set had to be created. So there was a detailing of every room, If a room belongs to Binodini, it has to be according to her taste, what she wants. If it's a Bulbbul's room, it has to be according to her taste. So the color palette, in fact, the costume colors, everything, it was all designed and planned from beforehand. And I think definitely Anvita, director, has lots to say to it. Of course, she'll be able to tell in more details, but it was her film, so I think it's her baby. So I think it was her decision also to put into all these colors and paintings and the motives also. Even in a sari, even in a jewelry, the kind of every detailing was done, like from beforehand. And that's what that's why it looks so rich on screen.
Rahul, there are some relationships in this film confuse me, which is good because there are lots of grey areas. We know that the younger brother, Satya, feels fear and love for the elder brother. But sometimes we don't understand what the elder brother feels for the younger guy. So how did you interpret this guy? Apart from making him vile in a lot of ways, how did you interpret him and what he feels for his brother?
Oh, I think he loves his brother dearly. He dotes on his brother. And if there is any kind of blame to be apportioned to the circumstances that happen later when the green ugly monster rears its head in his mind, it's not towards Satya. Satya is inviolate. He's Mr. Perfect. So I think that at no point of time does he ever move away from his misogyny and his patriarchy and his sense that, the doting on the beloved younger brother who's male. So he's a deeply patriarchal man. But at no point of time does he ever think that he is. He thinks that he is compassionate, wise, loving, considerate, and circumstances have made me do this. I'm not this person. It is the evil of that person who has made me become like this. Otherwise, my God, do you think I would ever raise my hand? Kind of thing. But in a nutshell, his relationship with Satya is almost like a doting father. Everything that I couldn't have, you must have, kind of.
Okay, guys, no spoilers. We're not going to get into who plays the chudel and things like that. But I just want to know your personal mindset. Sometimes it's an urban legend, sometimes it's a rural legend. You're told Dada Dadi ki kahaniya about chudels. Have you ever believed in them, Paoli, when you were a kid? Now, perhaps? I'd like you to start, and then Param, and then Rahul.
This is going to be long.
I'm actually scared of ghosts. So I believe in chudel. And we don't call chudel, we call petni shakchurni in Bangla.
That's right.
So my grandmother used to tell stories about all these. And probably as a kid, I was naughty, I was restless. I used to jump here and out there and never listen to them. Probably to scare me, they used to tell me all these stories. But we were having a discussion, like, of course, on Bulbbul, and there's something interesting which I think came across, like, while we were like once Param and Avinash we were talking, and I really realized probably, like, can be a symbolic representation of women who defies the social norms, the beliefs of that particular time. Yeah, and probably, that's again a very interesting.
It's like the witches who were burnt at the stake back in Europe, right?
No, but I and it's true, that's why I mentioned we were talking that day, and it just, anyway, okay, I won't give it up anymore. Let Param speak.
Well, this interview is too good to let go of. I'll tell you what, we shall come back with a teensy weensy part 2 tomorrow. Make sure you're back here tuned in to hear some famous last words on this interview with the accomplished actors Parambrata Chattopadhyay, Paoli Dam and Rahul Bose, talking about their film Bulbbul and more. My name is Hrishi K, and you're tuned into 94.3 Radio 11 World, your station. Let's celebrate with Pitbull now. John Newman with Love Me Again. Bulbbul, the film, is up for release on Netflix, and it's a supernatural thriller directed by Anvita Dutt, starring Paoli Dam, Rahul Bose and Parambrata Chattopadhyay. We started a wonderful interview yesterday that has to reach its climax and culmination today. Let's do it. One last leg with this amazing trio.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Param, rational or you've had a belief?
No. So I'm not scared of ghosts or the possibility of supernatural beings. I'm fascinated by them, I have to say. And hence I choose to believe in them. I think without believing in them, the world would be a very bland place, I have a feeling. It would lose its excitement, man. I'm seriously. I really want to imagine things. I have grown up on a healthy dose of Shishendu, Vibhuti Bhushan, and of course eventually Satyajit Ray. And then eventually international literature which hovered around fantasy and the supernatural space, and I wouldn't want the charm to go away. And if the charm has to be there, I have to eventually believe, at least a little bit. So I like getting my occasional scares, but what I really enjoy more is kind of, visualizing, imagining, brainstorming about the existence of certain things, about the finer supernatural layers to what we see apparently, and all of that. And I love it, absolutely.
Bose Babu.
To be honest, I didn't believe in ghosts and spirits, but I'm revealing it here for the first time, guys. So please, when we were shooting Bulbbul, everything was fine in the hotel, on set. But Hrishi, every time the camera rolled, I saw this figure approaching me, and in 1800 outfits, right? Like, those kind of saris and that kind of chunni and that kind of whatever, right? And this apparition would come to me and say something and walk away. And only when the camera rolled. So after 3 or 4 days, I got to know Avinash and Tripti a little bit better and said, can you see what I see? This in ash grey or some faded pink something, this apparition that comes in just when the camera rolls. The direct Anvita Dutt.
I knew it was going there.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, my last question. And Rahul, you don't need to take this because I've already done an interview with Rahul once the lockdown hit. Paoli and Param, one skill that you have acquired in lockdown. Some people, learn to cook up, rustle up a dish. Some people learn a new software. Anything that you've picked up, Paoli, since lockdown started? Anything, Param, that you picked up?
I can't say that I've picked up. I have practiced that. I think I've gotten better at a skill that I used to have. I've always had for a long time, but I was kind of getting out of practice. So that is playing my guitar. I think I've gotten better at that. And also writing again. So it gave me a lot of time to contemplate and write out my screenplays, which have been there in my head for some time. And I think the other skill that we have all gotten better at, and I am taking a cue from Rahul on this actually. We were discussing this just a while ago. I think we have gotten better at enduring horrific images of dying humanity over the lockdown. I think we have gotten used to it. And we have moved on. We have moved on to other topics. We have moved on to other issues. Forgetting that's quite some time. That needs a skill of its own, I think.
Paoli.
Yeah, I think it's true what he said. Like, I think we've all got seasoned, whatever is happening, and it doesn't. I don't know. I feel at times I feel really scared. Like, I feel, will all the sensitivity, all the emotions, and whatever we have, will there be? It will all vanish. Like, won't we feel for others? Won't we really do something for others? I don't know. These thoughts were just coming in my mind. Like, of course, it's been more than like 85 days. So till first 60 days, I had to struggle, like staying in one place. And even now, like while I'm talking to all of you, like it's something very new which I need to adapt to. Like we've been used to promoting things by sitting next to each other, where you get a physical vibe of every person. So you get an energy kind of, So this is also something new for me. We are all trying to adapt to the new normal. So till 60 days, I had the struggle. From 61st day, I just got rid of all my anxieties, all worries. Probably that is a self-discovery. I just stopped thinking that way. And yeah, we chose ke kya fayda choice. And about like skills, yeah, I haven't. I love cooking and haven't cooked for long actually because of the schedule that we go through. So some dishes I had learned from my mother, which I didn't try before. Maybe like shukto, a Bengali cuisine. I never cooked before, so first time I cooked. So that's something new.
Guys, this interview was almost as delightful as your film. Thank you for a wonderful experience, both with Bulbbul as well as here. Thank you very much, Rahul. Thank you, Param, and thank you, Paoli. Cheers.
Thank you, Hrishikesh.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
The excellent Parambrata Chattopadhyay, Paoli Dam and Rahul Bose hanging with me there. Go watch their Bulbbul. I'm Hrishi K and here's Britney Spears with I Wanna Go. Only on 94.3 Radio 1 World, your station.